Have you ever noticed how some people share every detail about what they're doing and yet never seem to get anywhere? Most of us think telling others our plans will make us feel motivated or important, but it actually does the opposite. Every opinion, every question, every little judgment drains your energy and slows your progress. The truth is, the people who get things done quietly are the ones who change their lives the fastest. When you keep your work private, your mind stays sharp, your focus stays strong, and your actions stay powerful. No distractions, no unnecessary pressure. Just consistent effort that builds results you can and feel. In this video, you're going to discover why never telling people what you do can completely change your mindset, protect your progress, and give you the freedom to grow on your own terms. You'll learn how quiet action makes you unstoppable and why results created in silence always speak the loudest. This is about taking control and winning without giving anyone else power over your journey. Chapter 1. Hold your goals inside and act with quiet confidence. You know, when a person decides to hold their goals inside and act with quiet confidence, something powerful begins to form within them. It is not loud. It is not pushed into the world for applause. It is a steady rise in awareness, a sense of personal direction, a feeling that grows when you stop sharing every detail of your journey with people who have no role in your success. When something matters to you, you do not give it away too quickly. You give it time to form inside you. You give it time to become strong, because once you share it too early, you invite opinions that drain your energy. You invite doubts that are not yours. You invite pressure you do not need. And in human life, pressure from the wrong place can make even the strongest dream feel too heavy to carry. Quiet confidence is not about hiding. It is about protecting the part of you that is still growing. When you guard that inner space, you give your goals a chance to breathe. You give yourself room to adjust without feeling judged. You allow yourself to win or fail without the world watching your every step. Many people talk too early. They share their plans before they are ready. They speak about every thought hoping for approval. And when approval does not come, their desire weakens. Their focus drops, their spirit loses strength. The world does not always support early dreams. People have their worries, people project their fears, people see your idea through their own limitations. And if you allow that energy inside your life too soon, your progress slows down. There is a calm power in keeping certain things for yourself. When you hold your goals inside, you control the pace, you control the growth. You control the meaning. You do not give Geben the power to direct your steps. You do not give anyone the chance to shape your purpose. You become responsible for your own drive. You begin to act with maturity. You begin to build character. You begin to develop the strength that only comes from internal discipline. And internal discipline is a turn small efforts into personal breakthrough. People often think confidence must be loud. But confidence grows strongest in silence. Real confidence is the result of knowing what you want and doing the work without needing others to witness it. When you act with quiet confidence, you build a relationship with yourself. You start trusting your decisions. You start believing that you can handle challenges on your own. You start seeing proof that you are stronger than you thought. And this inner trust brings you peace. It brings you clarity. It brings you a sense of control over your own life. Quiet confidence is built day by day. It comes from waking up and choosing to act even when nobody sees you. It comes from doing what you said you would do even when nobody checks on you. It comes from staying committed to the life you want, even when progress feels slow. And progress often feels slow, but slow progress built in silence becomes deep progress. It becomes progress that lasts, because when you work quietly, you learn to rely on your own consistency instead of the world's validation. Human nature is interesting. When you talk too much about your goals, your mind feels satisfied as if you already achieved something. Talking gives you a quick feeling of progress, but it is not real progress. It is only the feeling of progress, and that can stop you from taking the actions that matter. When you stay quiet, you keep the fire inside you. You keep the hunger alive. You keep the mind focused on action, not on explanation. You do not waste energy trying to convince people. You use that energy to build something real. Quiet confidence is not cold. It is not distant. It is steady. It is intentional. It is built on self-awareness. You begin to understand your emotional limits. You understand what drains you. You understand what inspires you. You understand what gives you strength in difficult moments. And you learn that too many opinions can confuse your direction. When you protect your goals, you protect your identity. You protect your potential. You protect the part of you that is still developing. People often talk because they want support. They want someone to believe in their journey. But the truth is this: most people cannot see your vision because they did not receive it. They cannot feel your purpose because it was not given to them. They cannot understand your drive because they do not carry your story. Your goals belong to you. Your steps belong to you. Your passion belongs to you. And when you understand this, you free yourself from the need to announce your progress. Quiet confidence makes you stronger. It makes you more aware of your own patterns. When you stop explaining everything, you start observing more. You notice where your time goes. You notice what habits help you. You notice what actions lead nowhere. You begin to build better rhythms for your day. You use your energy more wisely. You choose improvement over attention. You choose growth over noise. You choose action over talk. And talk never built a future. Action does. There is great emotional strength in silence. When you avoid sharing every detail, you give yourself emotional space. You avoid unnecessary stress. You avoid feeling watched. You avoid negative reactions that can weaken your motivation. You remove the weight of expectation. And without expectation, your mind becomes lighter. You think more clearly. You make decisions more calmly. You respond to challenges with a stronger sense of control. Quiet confidence also changes the way people see you. When others see you moving without explaining, they sense discipline, they sense intention, they sense maturity. People respect those who work for their life instead of seeking approval for it. People notice when your actions improve, but your voice stays steady. They may not know what you are building, but they see the results when they appear. And results speak with more power than any announcement ever could. Holding your goals inside does not mean staying silent forever. It means staying silent until you are ready, until your progress is real, until your foundation is strong, until your mind is steady, until your confidence is high enough to stand without outside validation. When your results arrive, they will speak clearly. They will speak honestly. They will speak in a way that no explanation can match. People understand results better than plans. Results are real. Results cannot be doubted. Results carry their own strength. Quiet confidence also builds patience. When you are not busy talking, you become better at listening to your own needs. You become better at understanding your emotional state. You become better at adjusting your habit. You become better at accepting that growth takes time. You grow into a person who does things because they matter, not because others notice. You become a person who values progress over recognition, and this shift changes everything. When you build your life with quiet confidence, you develop a strong internal world. You begin to value privacy. You begin to enjoy the calm that comes from staying focused. You begin to appreciate the power of taking action without waiting for opinions. And this creates a new version of you, a version that is driven by purpose, a version that is guided by clarity, a version that lives with intention. Quiet confidence gives you emotional freedom. You stop worrying about what others think. You stop comparing your progress to others. You stop feeling the need to explain your choices. You stop searching for approval. And this freedom allows you to move faster. It allows you to make decisions based on your values. It allows you to grow without limits placed by someone else's thinking. You hold your goals inside because that is where they grow best. You act with quiet confidence because that is where strength is built. Your life is a long journey. Your progress is personal.
Your purpose is yours alone. When you learn to protect these things, you step into a new level of maturity. You begin to live with intention. You begin to build with discipline. You begin to rise with power that comes from within. Quiet confidence becomes your foundation. It becomes the reason you stay committed. It becomes the reason you keep moving. It becomes the reason you achieve more than people expect. And this is the power of holding your goals inside and acting with quiet confidence. It is simple. It is human. It is real. And it will change your life if you walk with it every day.
Chapter 2. Choose silent effort, so your mind stays clear. When a person chooses silent effort, something shifts inside them. The mind becomes calmer. The thoughts become cleaner. The emotions settle in a healthier space. Silent effort is not about hiding. It is about protecting the quality of your mental world so you can think straight and act with intention. When you decide to work quietly, you remove a large amount of noise that usually distracts you. You give yourself a chance to focus without interruption. You give yourself room to grow without the weight of outside opinions. Your mind performs better when it is not busy answering questions about your goals or explaining why you are taking certain steps in your life. Clear thinking requires space. It requires simplicity. It requires a kind of order that does not appear when you constantly share your plans with people who do not understand what you are trying to build. Silent effort creates that order. It lets you start your day without pressure from anyone else. It allows you to shape your actions based on what you value, not what others expect from you. When your mind is clear, you make better choices. You manage your emotions better. You stay grounded during stress. You respond instead of react. You act instead of overthinking. You move with purpose instead of confusion. Silent effort also protects you from emotional distractions. When you talk too much about your plans, you invite reactions that you do not need. Some people may question you, some may discourage you, some may not care at all, and those reactions create small emotional waves inside your mind. They pull your attention away from what matters. They make you doubt yourself. They slow down your momentum. When you choose silent effort, you remove those waves. You keep your emotional world steady. You give your mind a chance to stay focused on the real work instead of the noise around it. Quiet action helps you understand yourself better. When you do not explain your steps to everyone, you begin to hear your own thoughts more clearly. You notice what motivates you. You notice what makes you tired. You notice what habits support you and which ones weaken you. This awareness makes your mind sharper. You understand your limits. You know how to push yourself without breaking. You learn how to stay consistent without feeling overwhelmed. Silent effort gives you room to study your patterns and adjust them with calm intention. In life, too much talking creates confusion. The mind becomes crowded with opinions, worries, judgments, and questions. Every conversation adds new thoughts that stick in your head. You start thinking about what someone said, how they reacted, what they suggested, what they expected. All of this takes mental space. Space you need for your dreams. Space you need for your growth. Space you need for your discipline. When you choose to work quietly, you protect that space. You make sure your mind has enough clarity to focus deeply. This clarity becomes one of your strongest advantages. Silent effort also helps you stay honest with yourself. When nobody is watching your progress, you learn to rely on your own evaluation. You stop working for approval. You work because you believe in the direction you are taking. This builds self-respect. You start appreciating your own persistence. You recognize your efforts, even when nobody praises you. And this internal recognition is far more powerful than any external praise. It strengthens your sense of personal responsibility. You learn that your growth depends on your choices, not on anyone else noticing your work. A clear mind is not simply quiet, it is organized, it is steady, it understands what needs attention and what does not. Silent effort helps you prioritize. When you are not constantly explaining your actions, you see your tasks more simply. You understand what matters right now. You understand what can wait. This reduces stress. It reduces unnecessary pressure. You no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You work at your own pace. You choose progress over anxiety. You focus on the process instead of the opinions around it. Silent effort is deeply connected to emotional maturity. When you keep your work private, you learn how to manage your reactions. You learn how to stay grounded even when things do not go as planned. You build patience. You build discipline. You build a calm strength that comes from knowing you can handle your journey on your own terms. The mind becomes clearer when you are not trying to meet expectations that were never yours. Silent effort frees you from that burden. It lets you move forward without feeling watched or judged. Another benefit of silent effort is increased mental energy. Talking about your goals takes energy. Explaining your struggles takes energy. Defending your decisions takes energy. But this energy is better used for actual work. When you cut out unnecessary conversations about your journey, you save a lot of mental strength. You can invest that energy into planning, learning, improving and taking action. The mind stays fresher. You experience fewer emotional highs and lows. You think more rationally. You see your next steps more clearly. Choosing silent effort also helps you stay consistent. When you are not trying to impress anyone, your actions become more stable. You start showing up because you want to grow, not because someone is watching. You build habits that last because they are built for you, not for the world. Consistency becomes easier when the mind is free from outside pressure. You are not working for applause. You are working for progress. And progress grows well in quiet spaces where your mind has room to breathe. Silent effort creates a deeper connection with your work. You begin to enjoy the process more. You appreciate the small wins. You feel proud of your discipline. You feel connected to your future. When the mind is clear, you can fully focus on what you are doing. You pay attention to detail. You learn faster. You perform better. You make fewer mistakes because you are not rushing or trying to impress. You become more patient with yourself. You embrace the long journey instead of expecting quick results. Many people underestimate the value of a quiet mind. They think growth must be loud. They think success must be announced. But true progress often happens inside you long before anyone sees it. Silent effort allows that inner progress to form without interruption. It lets you build the foundation of your future with patience and precision. A clear mind is a powerful tool. It helps you make decisions that match your goals. It helps you see opportunities you might have missed before. It helps you stay calm during difficulty. Silent effort strengthens this tool by removing unnecessary noise. Working quietly also reduces the fear of failure. When you talk openly about your plans, you often fear disappointing others. That fear becomes heavy. It increases stress. It makes your goals feel bigger than they really are. But when you work silently, you remove that fear. You give yourself freedom to try, adjust, fail, learn, and grow without pressure. You allow yourself to explore new ideas without worrying about what someone else might think. This gives your mind space to experiment and improve. You grow with more confidence because your mistakes are yours alone, and your lessons are private. Silent effort teaches you how to think long-term. When you are not focused on what people think right now, you begin to value future results more.
You understand that real change takes time. You accept the slow progress. You trust the process. You stay patient. A clear mind is not rushed. It understands the value of steady improvement. Silent effort creates the mental environment needed for long-term growth. It allows you to stay committed even when you do not see immediate results. Commitment becomes easier because your focus is internal, not external. Quiet action also builds emotional resilience. When you keep your work private, you learn how to handle challenges without needing external support. You develop a strong inner voice. This voice guides you during tough moments. It keeps you steady when things feel uncertain. It reminds you why you started. A clear mind does not panic easily. It looks at problems with a calm approach. It understands that difficulty is part of growth. Silent effort strengthens this mindset because it trains you to deal with challenges without relying on external validation. Another important part of silent effort is the ability to stay humble. When you choose quiet work, you remain grounded. You do not feel the need to boast. You stay focused on what matters. You become more aware of your weaknesses and more committed to improving them. A clear mind does not seek attention. It seeks understanding. It seeks improvement. It seeks purpose. Silent effort nurtures these qualities by keeping your attention on your growth instead of the reactions of others. Silent effort improves your relationship with time. You stop wasting hours explaining your plans. You stop losing energy on conversations that do not help. You start valuing your minutes. You start organizing your day more intentionally. You become aware of how much time you spend on productive tasks and how much time is lost through distraction. A clear mind notices these things. Silent effort keeps your mind alert and aware. You begin to use your time wisely because you understand that your progress depends on your daily actions, not on sharing your intentions. When you choose silent effort, you also protect your mental health. You avoid unnecessary comparison. You avoid the stress of pleasing others. You avoid the constant need to justify your decisions. The mind becomes healthier because it is not carrying the weight of external expectations. You feel lighter. You feel more in control. You feel more connected to yourself. This emotional freedom allows your mind to stay clear and functional. You make better decisions. You remain calmer throughout the day. You handle setbacks with more strength. Silent effort is one of the most reliable ways to build a strong and clear mind. It gives you privacy to grow. It gives you space to think. It gives you freedom to act without the noise of opinions. When you choose this path, you create a mental environment where real progress can happen. You move with clarity. You rise with intention. You develop confidence from your own action. You become someone who leads themselves with strength and purpose. And this is how choosing silent effort keeps your mind clear and your life moving forward with power and direction.
Chapter 3. Keep your growth unseen to avoid outside pressure. There is a special kind of strength that grows inside you when you keep your progress out of sight, not because you are hiding from the world, but because you understand how sensitive early growth can be. When you keep your growth unseen, you protect yourself from the weight of outside pressure. You protect your developing habits. You protect your focus. You protect the small improvements that are still forming. Growth often begins quietly. It often starts with small steps that do not look impressive to anyone else. If you expose these steps too early, people may judge them before they are ready. People may misunderstand what you are trying to build. People may create pressure that turns simple progress into unnecessary stress, and pressure from the outside can interfere with the direction of your progress. When you allow yourself to grow quietly, you give your mind a chance to adapt without feeling rushed. You create a safe space where you can experiment, learn, and adjust without worrying about what others think. This space is important. It keeps your attention on the work instead of on the expectations around you. When no one is watching, you feel free to learn at your own pace. You become more honest with yourself. You see where you need improvement. You see which habits strengthen you. You see which patterns slow you down. You grow without fear of judgment. You grow without the distraction of comparison. Outside pressure affects many people without them even noticing. When people know what you are working on, they sometimes create expectations that you never agreed to. They start asking questions. They start giving opinions. They start offering advice that does not fit your vision. Even if their intentions are good, their involvement complicates your journey. Instead of focusing on your steps, you begin worrying about how you appear. Instead of listening to your own needs, you start listening to voices that bring confusion. Your mind becomes heavy with thoughts that belong to others. And this makes growth harder than it needs to be. Keeping your growth unseen frees you from these unnecessary interactions. It allows you to develop privately. You gain the freedom to try new things without needing permission. You learn how to trust your own judgment. You build confidence in your ability to make changes without public attention. Growth becomes more personal. It becomes something meaningful to you, not something performed for the world. This creates stronger discipline. It builds a deeper connection with the goals you are pursuing. You grow more effectively when you are not performing. When you grow unseen, your improvements come from genuine effort. You do not adjust your activity to impress others. You do not rush to show results. You do not exaggerate your progress. You stay true to your pace. You experience real development, not pressured development. You take the time you need to learn things properly. You take the time to understand new skills. You establish habits that last because they are built steadily, without external noise. Many people weaken their own growth by exposing it too early. The moment they share it, they take on a responsibility that distracts them. They feel they must maintain an image. They feel they must show progress to the people who are watching. They feel judged even when no one says anything. This silent pressure becomes a weight. It makes growth harder. It adds anxiety where there should be patience. It brings tension where there should be clarity. When you keep your growth unseen, you avoid this cycle. Quiet growth enhances your emotional stability. You do not get carried away by praise. You do not get discouraged by criticism. You do not rely on external feedback to feel motivated. You build a stable internal drive. This internal drive is stronger than any praise someone can give you. It is not influenced by the mood or opinions of others. It is not fragile. It is steady because it comes from your own desire to improve. You wake up and take action because you value who you are becoming, not because you want to impress someone. Growing unseen also helps you protect your energy. Every conversation about your growth takes energy. Every explanation takes energy. Every reaction from others takes energy. This energy can be used for better things. It can be used for studying, practicing, learning, or building. It can be used for reflection. When you stop giving updates to the world, your energy stays with you. You can invest it into your next step. You can invest it into improving your habits. You can invest it into becoming more disciplined. Silent growth gives you more mental energy to transform your life. Another reason to keep your growth unseen is that early progress is fragile. It can break easily if exposed to the wrong environment. When you are still forming a new habit, even a small comment from someone can weaken your motivation. Someone might question why you are doing something. Someone might share their own fears. Someone might make a careless remark, and that one remark can take away your desire to continue. The mind is sensitive during growth.
Quiet growth shields your mind from these negative influences. The world often misunderstands slow, steady progress. People want to see fast results. They expect dramatic changes. But real growth rarely looks dramatic. It looks steady. It looks simple. It looks like small improvements repeated every day. If you show the world something that does not fit their expectations, they might not respect it. They might not respect it. They might not understand it. And this misunderstanding creates pressure. Pressure that makes you question your way. Pressure that makes you doubt your timeline. Pressure that pulls you away from your own clarity. That is why unseen growth is so powerful. It protects your timeline from the demands of others. Unseen growth also gives you the freedom to restart without embarrassment. Every journey has ups and downs. Nobody gets it right immediately. But when your growth is public, every setback feels heavier. You feel watched. You feel judged. You feel like you failed others instead of just learning for yourself. When you grow privately, you can restart as many times as you need. You can adjust quietly. You can learn without shame. You can recover without pressure. This allows you to grow more sustainably. When you keep your growth unseen, you maintain control over your environment. You decide who gets access to your process. You decide who gets to know your progress. You decide what information to share and what to hold within. This sense of control strengthens your mind. It gives you a sense of ownership over your life. You stop depending on others for motivation. You stop seeking approval. You stop chasing recognition. You begin to value your own perspective more. Growing unseen also makes your results more meaningful. When your progress is finally visible, people see a version of you that is complete, stable, and confident. They see results you built with consistency and patience. They see outcomes you created without the pressure of an audience. And these results speak more loudly than any announcement could. People respect what they cannot deny. They recognize the strength in someone who grows quietly and appears stronger over time. You become an example of discipline, not of performance. Silent growth improves your relationship with yourself. You begin to enjoy your own company. You begin to appreciate your private victory. You begin to take pride in your discipline. You begin to rely on your internal guidance. This deep self-connection is a powerful foundation for long-term success. You stop living for the approval of others. You start living with purpose. You start valuing your growth because it matters to you, not because someone else notices it. By keeping your growth unseen, you avoid unnecessary pressure, protect your mental space, preserve your emotional energy, strengthen your internal drive, and build habits that last. You move at your own pace. You rise in your own time. You grow with clarity. You grow with intention. You grow without disturbance. And one day, when your results are strong, clear, and undeniable, the world will see what you built. But until then, your growth deserves protection. It deserves privacy. It deserves silence. Because the best version of you is built quietly, steadily, and without the weight of outside pressure.
Chapter 4. Protect your progress by letting your actions stay private. When you protect your progress by keeping your actions private, you give yourself room to grow without being pushed, judged, or rushed by anyone. Progress is something that needs space. It needs a quiet environment where your mind can sort out what matters and what doesn't. When you allow too many eyes on your steps, you invite noise that weakens your focus. People rarely understand what you're trying to build because they don't live inside your thoughts. They don't feel your reasons the way you do. They don't carry your frustrations or the promises you've made to yourself. That's why your progress deserves privacy. It deserves a clean space where your decisions are shaped by your purpose, not by opinions floating around you. When you work privately, you learn to stand on your own, thinking. You don't wait for approval, you don't search for applause, and you don't allow anyone's doubts to crawl into your mind. You learn to trust your own steps. You build the strength to move even when nothing looks certain. You control the pace, the direction, and the timing. And in a world where everyone shares everything the moment it happens, the person who protects their journey becomes rare. There's power in that rarity. There's clarity in it. When you're not busy explaining your every move, your energy stays with your work. It doesn't get wasted on trying to convince anyone that your path makes sense. People often bring pressure without meaning to. They might ask questions that make you rethink decisions that were already right for you. They might bring their fears into your vision, and if you're not careful, their fears start shaping your next step. When you keep your actions private, you avoid this silent pressure. You remove the weight that comes from trying to satisfy people who don't even understand your goal. Your progress becomes cleaner and more honest because it comes only from your own effort and commitment. Privacy also protects your motivation. When you tell everyone what you're working on, you might feel excited at first, but that excitement fades fast. You get a quick hit of pride before you've done the real work, and that can make your effort weaker. When you protect what you're building, the only reward you feel is the result of real progress, and that's the reward that lasts. That's the one that pushes you forward again the next day. Quiet progress keeps your motivation alive because it grows naturally from the actions you take, not from the reactions you get. Some people don't cheer for your progress. Some feel uncomfortable when you rise, even if they don't say it out loud. They might challenge you, mock your ideas, or make your goals sound unrealistic. If you invite the wrong people into your plans, you invite the wrong energy into your life. It becomes harder to stay consistent because you're fighting their doubts while trying to manage your own. Protecting your progress means protecting your emotional space. It means choosing who gets access to what you're building. It means keeping certain doors closed until you're ready to open them. When your actions stay private, your mistakes stay private too. Growth comes with errors, adjustments, and moments where things don't go the way you hoped. When everyone is watching, one mistake can turn into a conversation you didn't ask for. It can become a reason for people to question your direction or your ability. When you work quietly, you can learn from those mistakes without anyone's opinion shaping the lesson. You can take the time to understand what went wrong and correct it with a calm mind. This makes you stronger, smarter, and more confident in your decision. Working privately builds a stronger relationship with discipline. There's no audience to impress, no spotlight pushing you to look productive. It's just you and the work. And when you can be disciplined without anyone watching, that discipline becomes real. It becomes part of your character. It becomes something you can rely on when challenges appear. A person who protects their progress knows how to show up even when no one is checking on them. That kind of commitment creates results that people can't ignore when the time comes. Another benefit of keeping your actions private is that it gives you time to grow into the new version of yourself before others see it. Growth is uncomfortable. You have to break old habits, face your weaknesses, and push yourself in ways that aren't always easy. This process is personal. It's emotional. You don't need the world seeing you at every stage, especially the ones that aren't pretty. When you protect your progress, you allow yourself to change in peace. You allow yourself to adjust before anyone has a chance to judge the new direction you're heading in. You become more solid in your new habits because you had time to strengthen them before someone tried to shake them. People respect results more than explanations. When you work quietly, you give them something real to see later, something that speaks louder than anything you could have said. You don't have to justify your choices or defend your dreams. The results speak for you. They show the hours you put in, the discipline you held on to, and the courage it took to keep moving. Quiet work creates loud results. There's also a deeper emotional benefit to keeping your actions private. It protects your peace. When your life is constantly open, you feel pulled in too many directions. Opinions come from everywhere. Questions come from people who don't understand the weight of what you're trying to achieve. You become distracted,
and distraction slowly eats away at your progress. When you protect your actions, you reduce the noise, your mind becomes calmer, your thoughts become clearer, you make decisions based on what feels right for you, not on what others think you should do. You also avoid the feeling of being rushed. When you announce your goals publicly, people expect updates. They ask about your progress. They ask when they'll see results. This creates unnecessary pressure that can make you feel like you're behind even when you're on the right track. Private progress removes this pressure. You move at the speed that works for you. You focus on quality instead of speed, and because you're not comparing your timeline with anyone else's expectations, you avoid unnecessary stress. Protecting your progress also helps you stay grounded. When you're constantly talking about your plans, you might start feeling like you're already ahead, even when you haven't done the work yet. But when you stay silent, you stay aware of how much work is still required. You stay connected to the reality of your effort. This grounded mindset keeps you humble, focused, and disciplined. It prevents you from becoming careless with your goals. There's strength in moving quietly. There's wisdom in choosing privacy over attention. There's peace in knowing that your path is yours alone. When you protect your progress, you're not hiding. You're choosing the environment that helps you grow best. You're choosing clarity over noise, discipline over distraction, and purpose over validation. And when the time is right, the world will see the results you built in silence, solid, meaningful, and undeniable.
Chapter 5. Build your life quietly so you stay in control. When you choose to build your life quietly, you give yourself something most people never get: control. Not control over the world, not control over people, but control over your direction, your time, your energy, and your emotional space. Quiet building is not about hiding. It's about protecting your foundation while it grows strong enough to hold the life you want. It's about choosing a path where your decisions come from clarity, not pressure. When you move quietly, you steer your life instead of letting distractions pull you from one place to another. Every person who has built something meaningful understands that noise makes you lose focus. The more you talk, the more you invite opinions, questions, and expectations can slowly take the wheel away from you. Someone asks why you're not further ahead. Someone else thinks your plan should be different. Another person compares your pace with theirs. Before you know it, your choices are shaped by voices that were never part of your vision. Quiet building eliminates that problem. It keeps your path clean. It keeps your decisions honest. It keeps you aligned with what feels right instead of what looks good to someone else. Control is not about force. It's about direction. It's about making sure your steps match your purpose. When you build quietly, you're not rushed by anyone. You're not distracted by applause. You're not influenced by doubt. You get the freedom to take your time, to think, to adjust, and to grow into the new life you're creating. You don't need to defend your choices, and you don't need to explain every small decision. You simply work, improve, and move forward at a pace that allows you to stay centered. Quiet builders don't need an audience to feel motivated. Their motivation comes from the progress they see in themselves. They don't chase attention. They don't shift directions because someone else has a new opinion. They stay with their plan until it becomes real. When you build your life quietly, you become someone who works with intention instead of impulse. You're not bouncing from idea to idea just to stay visible. You build the parts of your life that matter even when no one knows what you're doing. That's what gives you real control, because your effort is consistent, not influenced by mood or outside noise. There's a certain peace that comes from keeping your plans close. You wake up without pressure to impress anyone. You take your steps without worrying how it looks from the outside. You don't waste energy trying to satisfy people who aren't responsible for your future. This peace is not weak, it's strong. It allows you to stay steady. It helps you think clearly. It protects your mental space so you can make decisions from strength instead of fear. When your mind is calm, you see opportunities faster, you solve problems easier, you stay patient through the slow days because you're not performing for anyone. The moment you start announcing your progress, something changes inside you. You begin to feel watched. You begin to feel judged. You begin to feel like you must move faster, even when rushing would only weaken your work. But when you keep things quiet, you remove that weight. You're free to build at the speed that actually supports your progress. You can take time to develop new habits, refine new skills, or repair old flaws without feeling exposed. Quiet growth is honest growth. It allows you to develop into someone who can handle success without being shaken by it. A life built quietly becomes more solid because it's built on real effort, not performance. When you work privately, your results don't depend on luck, attention, or approval. They depend on your discipline, your consistency, and your willingness to stay committed even when no one is watching. That level of commitment builds a strong foundation. It makes you dependable. It makes you resourceful. It makes you someone who can handle challenges without falling apart because you weren't building for applause. You were building for stability. You also stay in better control of your emotions when you move quietly. When you share everything, you expose yourself to reactions you didn't ask for. Some people cheer. Some people don't. Some people pretend to support you while secretly waiting for you to fail. Their reactions can play with your mind if you're not careful. You start to question yourself. You start to compare. You start to overthink steps that were already right. When you build privately, none of that reaches you. The fewer opinions entering your mind, the more stable you remain. You stay emotionally balanced, and that balance gives you the strength to move with confidence. People often talk themselves out of their goals because they share too soon. They reveal a plan before they're mentally ready to defend it. They expose a dream before the dream has a strong enough grip on them. Then one negative comment makes them doubt everything. Quiet building prevents this problem. It gives your dream time to grow roots inside you. It becomes part of you before you ever let the world see. And once something becomes part of you, it's much harder for anyone to shake. Another reason building quietly keeps you in control is that it protects you from unnecessary comparison. When you tell people what you're working on, they start comparing you with others who are doing something similar. You hear about someone who started faster, achieved sooner, earned more, or reached a bigger goal. Even if you try to ignore it, comparison sneaks into your mind. It makes you feel behind. Quiet progress removes this entire problem. When your path is private, you're not measuring your steps against anyone. You focus on your own pace. You recognize your own weaknesses. You track your own growth. That keeps you in control of your confidence and your direction. Quiet building also helps you take responsibility. When you're not updating anyone about your progress, you rely on your own honesty. You know whether you're doing the work or not. You know whether you're cutting corners or staying consistent. You learn to hold yourself accountable because there's no audience to blame when things slow down. And this accountability makes you stronger. It builds character. It makes your progress real instead of inflated by talk. There's also a practical benefit to building your life quietly. You avoid sharing plans that aren't finished. You avoid promising things you may need to adjust later. You avoid attracting attention before you're ready to handle it. Some opportunities require preparation before presentation. Some stages require strength before exposure. When you build quietly, you prepare for the moment when your results need to stand in the open. You grow into that moment instead of forcing it too soon. Quiet building gives you privacy to experiment. You can test ideas. You can try new approaches. You can adjust your goals. You can change direction without people questioning why. You can correct mistakes without anyone seeing the rough parts. This freedom allows you to grow smoother, faster, and more effectively. You're not locked into a plan you announced. You're free to improve without interference. As you continue building quietly, your confidence grows differently.
It's not loud, it's not showy. It's steady, deep, and earned. You know what you've done. You know what sacrifices you've made. You know how far you've come even if no one else does. That internal confidence becomes the foundation for the way you carry yourself. People feel it when you walk into a room. They feel it when you speak. They feel it because quiet effort builds a type of strength that doesn't need to be advertised. Many people mistake silence for weakness, but silence is often a sign of focus. It's a sign of direction. It's a sign of someone who understands that a life built with intention doesn't need to be explained step by step. The truth is, the world only respects what it can see, but what the world sees is shaped by what you do when no one is watching. Quiet building guarantees that what eventually becomes visible is solid, meaningful, and stable. You also stay in control of your relationships when you build quietly. You learn who truly understands you, who respects your space, and who supports your growth without demanding detail. You learn to keep distance from people who drain your energy. You learn to surround yourself with calmness instead of chaos. Quiet progress teaches you that not everyone deserves access to your journey. Some people are better kept at a distance, and silence helps you create that distance without conflict. When your life is being built quietly, you become more intentional with your choices. You save your energy for what matters. You stop reacting to small things. You stop giving your time to situations that don't contribute to your progress. This focus creates momentum. It keeps your mind sharp. It keeps your priorities clear. It puts you in full control of where your life is heading. And as you continue building, something powerful happens. You start to enjoy the process more. You enjoy the nights you work alone. You enjoy the small wins that no one else sees. You enjoy watching yourself change in ways that only you understand. Quiet building helps you fall in love with your own journey. It shifts your attention from impressing others to improving yourself. That shift puts you in complete control of your life. By the time your results finally show, people will think it happened suddenly. They won't see the long hours, the sacrifices, or the silent battles. But you'll know every moment you chose discipline over comfort. You'll know every time you kept going when no one was cheering. You'll know the strength it took to build your life quietly, and that knowing will give you a sense of control that nothing can replace. Building your life quietly doesn't just keep you in control. It shapes you into someone who can handle the success you're preparing for. It gives you patience, stability, clarity, emotional strength, and a solid foundation that no noise can break. In a world filled with constant sharing and endless distractions, the person who builds quietly stands out because their results carry weight, their character carries depth, and their life stands on truth instead of attention.
Chapter 6. Trust your path more when fewer people judge it. When you walk a path that truly matters to you, one thing becomes clear very quickly. The fewer people judging your steps, the easier it is to trust those steps. Trust is a fragile thing when it comes to your own journey. Your confidence grows stronger when you are not carrying the weight of opinions that were never meant to guide your life. When the noise around you gets quieter, your inner voice finally has room to speak. And that voice is the one that knows your strengths, your pace, your limits, and your dreams better than anyone else ever will. When you reduce judgment from others, you give yourself the space to grow without fear, without hesitation, and without second-guessing every move. Most people don't realize how much judgment shapes their decisions. It shows up in small ways. You share an idea, and someone raises an eyebrow. You talk about a goal, and someone gives you a half-committed smile. You mention a change you're planning to make, and someone reminds you of the risks. Even the people who seem harmless can plant doubts that take root in your mind. You start questioning whether you're going too slow or too fast. You question whether you're aiming too high or too low. You question whether you should continue or stop. These doubts don't show up because your path is wrong. They show up because you gave too many people access to it. When you limit that access, everything becomes cleaner. You focus on the reasons you started. You remember what matters to you. You build your choices on your own values instead of letting the world convince you that you need approval to move forward. When fewer people watch your moves, you don't feel the need to perform. You don't feel the pressure to look like you have it all figured out. You don't feel the burden of explaining every step. You simply walk your path at a pace that allows you to stay grounded and clear. There is a different kind of strength that appears when you're not being judged at every turn. You start trusting your own thinking. You start trusting your own instincts. You start trusting your pace. You stop comparing your progress with someone else's. You stop rushing because someone thinks you should be farther ahead. You stop shrinking because someone thinks your dream is unrealistic. You move with a calm that comes from knowing the only voice you must answer to is the one inside you. Judgment is heavy. It makes your path harder to walk. Even when the judgment is silent, you can feel it. The looks, the questions, the tone of someone's voice when they ask how things are going. These little moments create pressure you never asked for, and pressure from the outside is dangerous because it slowly pushes you away from your own clarity. You start making choices to protect your image instead of protecting your growth. You start changing your steps to avoid criticism instead of making decisions that actually support your future. When fewer people judge you, you free yourself from that weight, and you start choosing what truly benefits your life. There is something deeply empowering about keeping your path private until it becomes strong enough to stand on its own. When your goals are still growing, they are sensitive. They can be influenced easily. They can be discouraged easily. They can be misunderstood easily. Your path becomes more stable when you walk it without exposing it to those who don't understand it. The truth is, most people don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. They don't know why this goal matters to you. They don't understand the meaning behind your effort. So why let their judgment shape a journey that belongs only to you? You learn more about yourself when you walk without explaining. You learn what your real priorities are. You learn what you're willing to sacrifice. You learn what motivates you without needing attention or approval. You learn to keep going even when the path gets uncomfortable because you know the reason behind your step. Self-trust grows in silence, because silence gives you the room to hear your own needs clearly. When fewer people judge your path, you also protect your energy. Every time you share something, you open the door to someone's response. And every response requires energy, whether it's positive or negative. Explaining, defending, clarifying, all of that drains your focus. But when you keep your journey private, that energy stays with you. You use it to improve your habits, strengthen your discipline, and stay consistent. You use it to grow. You use it to make better decisions. You use it to build a future that feels right to you instead of one that impresses a crowd. You will notice your confidence change when you stop inviting judgment. Confidence doesn't grow from praise. Praise feels good, but it can make you dependent on outside validation. Real confidence grows when you take steps without needing anyone to cheer for you. It grows when you do the work because it matters to you, not because you want to prove something. It grows when you make progress in silence and see yourself improving day by day. That kind of confidence is steady. It doesn't crumble when someone doubts you. It doesn't disappear when someone questions your choices. It stays with you because you built it from your own effort, not from approval. When fewer people judge your path, you also avoid unnecessary comparison. Comparison is one of the biggest enemies of personal growth. It makes you feel behind. It makes you feel unprepared. It makes you question your direction. But comparison often happens because we share too much. When people know your goals, they compare you to others with similar goals.
They mention someone who reached the same result in less time. They talk about someone who started later but succeeded sooner. And slowly you start feeling pressure to match someone else's timeline. That pressure makes you rush. Rushing makes you lose your balance. Losing your balance makes you lose control of your direction. When your path is private, comparison has no place to grow. Walking your path quietly helps you stay honest with yourself. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're not trying to look perfect. You're not shaping your progress for an audience. You're simply working. You're choosing what matters. You're adjusting your habits. You're learning from mistakes without feeling embarrassed. You're improving without feeling watched. This honesty allows you to make real change because you can't hide from yourself when you're not performing for anyone else. There's something powerful about not being judged during your early stages. Those are the days when you feel uncertain, when you're learning, when you're making small improvements. If someone judges you at that stage, it can shake your confidence deeply. But when you protect that stage, you give yourself the room to grow into a stronger version of yourself before anyone sees your progress. You create a safe space for yourself, and that safety gives you courage. When fewer people judge your path, your decisions become more meaningful. You start making choices based on what helps you grow, not on what keeps the peace with others. You choose habits that strengthen your discipline. You choose routines that support your energy. You choose environments that bring out the best in you. You choose relationships that encourage your growth instead of questioning it. You shape a life that feels aligned with your true self instead of the expectations placed on you. Walking your own path without too many eyes watching allows you to evolve at your own pace. You don't rush to impress. You don't slow down to fit in. You move at the speed that suits your growth. This pace allows you to mature. It allows you to gain experience. It allows you to build a foundation that lasts. When you trust your path more, you give yourself time to reach the results that match your potential instead of the results others expect from you. Every strong journey requires moments of solitude. Moments where you step back from the noise and reconnect with your purpose. Moments where you reflect on what you've learned. Moments where you adjust your direction based on your own insight. This solitude becomes easier when fewer people judge your path because you don't feel the need to stay available or open for commentary. You protect your mental space, and that protection gives you clarity. There is a kind of freedom that comes when you stop sharing every detail. You become lighter. You become calmer. You become more centered. You're no longer influenced by reactions you didn't ask for. You're no longer carrying emotional burdens that aren't yours. You're no longer adjusting your path to avoid judgment. You're walking forward with a sense of peace because you know the direction is right for you. As you continue walking your path with fewer people judging it, you begin to rely more on your own strength. You realize you can solve problems on your own. You realize you can make good decisions without needing approval. You realize you can keep going even when things get difficult. This realization builds a powerful type of confidence, a self-respect that comes from knowing you are capable, disciplined, and determined. In the end, trusting your path is not about being alone. It's about being selective. It's about allowing only the voices that strengthen you to get close. It's about protecting your direction from people who don't understand your vision. It's about giving yourself the emotional space to grow without pressure. It's about building a life that reflects your truth instead of their judgment. When fewer people judge your path, you not only trust it more, you walk it with a level of strength, clarity and confidence that carries you toward the life you're meant to build.
Chapter 7. Grow privately to avoid noise that slows your mind. When you choose to grow privately, you are protecting one of your most valuable assets, your mind. The human mind is sensitive. It absorbs energy, attention, and emotion from every interaction. When your growth is public, every comment, every opinion, and every expectation has the potential to slow your thinking. Noise seeps in from everywhere. People offer advice whether you ask for it or not. People question your methods whether they understand them or not. People judge the pace, the outcome, and sometimes even the intention behind your work. All of that noise competes with the quiet focus you need to truly develop. Private growth gives your mind a space where it can operate clearly, freely, and efficiently. It allows your thoughts to be organized without constant interference, and it allows you to think in ways that are meaningful to your goals, not shaped by distractions from others. Growing in private gives you the chance to focus deeply on the process rather than on appearances. When the world is watching, there is a subtle but constant pressure to perform. You feel the need to appear productive, to appear disciplined, to appear strong. That pressure can cause you to rush, to skip steps, or to prioritize what looks impressive over what actually works. Private growth removes that pressure. You can take time to understand the techniques, the habits, and the mindset shifts required for real development. You can refine, repeat, and adjust without feeling like the world is waiting for an update. That patience allows your growth to be real, not superficial. It allows you to dig deeper than what anyone else can see, and it allows you to develop the mental resilience that public scrutiny often erodes. Noise not only slows the mind, but also distracts from internal clarity. Thoughts that matter to your goals get tangled with unrelated advice, criticism, or opinions from people who do not fully understand your journey. Each new piece of external input is like a small tug away from the path you set for yourself. If you grow publicly, it becomes almost impossible to tell which voice belongs to your purpose and which belongs to someone else's fear or limitation. Private growth shields you from these tugs. It allows your mind to focus only on information that matters, only on decisions that align with your objectives, and only on habits that strengthen your discipline. When your mind is quiet, the quality of your thinking changes. You can plan your steps clearly, evaluate risks accurately, and assess results honestly. Your decisions are sharper because they are not influenced by reactions you never invited. You are more creative because your mental energy is not being drained by constant external judgment. You are more confident because your self-trust develops without interruption. And all of this growth happens at a pace that your brain can naturally support. You learn to solve problems independently, to think strategically, and to make decisions with full awareness rather than partial attention. Growing privately also gives you freedom to experiment. Every journey includes trial and error. Some things work, some things fail. If you expose your trials to the world, you risk embarrassment, criticism, and discouragement before you can learn the lesson. People see mistakes as failures, and the fear of that perception slows you down. In private, you can test ideas, fail, and adjust without judgment. You can discover what works best for you without worrying about how it looks. That kind of freedom strengthens your ability to innovate, adapt, and recover. It builds confidence in your ability to navigate uncertainty without reliance on validation from others. Private growth also helps you manage mental energy effectively. Energy is limited. Every interaction consumes attention, focus, and emotional strength. Public growth spreads your energy thin. You have to think about how others perceive you, answer questions, and sometimes defend your decisions. Private growth allows you to invest energy directly into meaningful action. You spend your time learning, practicing, reflecting, and improving. You focus on high-impact activities that move you forward instead of low-value interactions that distract. By keeping your mind clear, you maximize the return on every effort you put into your growth. Another reason private growth accelerates progress is that it protects consistency. Growth is built on repeated, small actions. When you are constantly explaining your work to others, your schedule becomes interrupted. You answer questions, share updates, or even change your pace to suit public expectations. That inconsistency erodes momentum. In private, you stay steady. You follow routines. You take consistent steps every day. Your habits strengthen because they are reinforced internally rather than externally. This steady rhythm is far more effective than any attention-driven bursts of activity. Emotional resilience also improves when growth is private. The fewer people observing your efforts, the fewer emotional highs and lows you experience. You don't get overly excited by praise. You don't get deflated by criticism. Your emotional energy stays focused on what matters. You become more patient, more persistent, and more committed because your focus is not swayed by external emotional triggers. You learn to rely on your own judgment, your own standards, and your own progress to measure success. That stability is essential for long-term growth and keeps your mind operating at peak clarity. Privacy also encourages introspection. When no one else is monitoring your steps, you are free to reflect on what you are learning. You can think critically about your decisions and evaluate your progress honestly. You notice patterns in your behavior that need improvement. You identify gaps in your skills or knowledge. You recognize strengths you may have overlooked. All of these insights are far more accessible when the mind is not being slowed by external judgment. Reflection becomes a powerful tool that drives deliberate growth instead of random effort. Keeping your growth private helps you maintain a sense of ownership. When you reveal your plans, others may claim authority over your decisions, offering advice that subtly shifts your direction. Even well-intentioned advice can dilute your sense of control. Private growth ensures that every choice remains yours. You fully understand the consequences of your actions, and you fully reap the rewards. That ownership strengthens your ability to commit to difficult challenges and persist even when progress is slow. Focus improves dramatically in private growth. The mind cannot perform well when it is pulled in multiple directions. Sharing plans, results, and ambitions creates multiple directions. Attention to progress, attention to judgment, attention to comparison. Private growth removes these extra threads. Your mind can focus entirely on the steps required to grow, the skills needed to improve, and the habits that will compound over time. That kind of focused effort is far more productive than a scattered one. It allows you to achieve meaningful outcomes faster and with greater quality. Privacy also encourages humility. When growth is unseen, you are less concerned with recognition. You develop a mindset oriented toward learning, improvement, and mastery rather than external validation. That humility allows you to absorb lessons better, listen more effectively, and adapt more readily. It also ensures that your mind is not slowed by arrogance or ego, which often grows when attention is given before progress is made. Quiet growth protects your mental state by keeping you humble, sharp, and committed. When growth is private, the mind can develop discipline more effectively. Discipline requires repetition, focus, and perseverance. Public exposure often interrupts this development by introducing distraction. People ask questions, demand updates, or unintentionally disrupt routines. Private growth removes these interruptions. You reinforce habits consistently. You practice skills without pressure. You refine your thinking without interruption. The mind becomes a machine for deliberate improvement, capable of maintaining steady progress without external reinforcement. Private growth also allows you to avoid toxic influence. Every time your journey is visible, opinions flow in. Some opinions are negative. Some are limiting. Some are subtle attempts to pull you off course. Even small exposure to negativity can affect motivation, clarity, and confidence. Growing privately shields you from these influences. You protect your mental environment so your mind can remain calm,
strategic and focused on outcomes that matter to you. Noise from outside sources cannot weaken the foundation you are building. Finally, growing privately allows you to savor each step. When your progress is unseen, you experience the small victories fully. You can reflect on them, celebrate internally, and use them to fuel your next action. You are not chasing applause or recognition, which often feels temporary and shallow. Instead, each step builds internal satisfaction, emotional strength, and confidence. This quiet accumulation of victories shapes a mind that is strong, focused, and unshakable. Private growth ensures that your mind operates without distraction, judgment, or interruption. It keeps energy focused on meaningful work. It builds discipline, clarity, and resilience. It allows experimentation, learning, and reflection. It strengthens self-trust and ownership. It protects your emotional state. It removes comparison, pressure, and unnecessary noise. When you grow privately, your mind becomes a precise instrument for action. It becomes capable of deep focus, meaningful learning, and deliberate progress. And over time, this private cultivation produces results that are strong, undeniable, and long-lasting, because they were developed with the full power of a mind unshaken by noise.
Chapter 8. Move toward your dreams without letting others shape them. When you move toward your dreams without letting others shape them, you reclaim the most essential ownership of your life. Dreams are fragile at first, sensitive to every opinion, suggestion, or expectation from the outside world. When you share your aspirations too early or too often, you risk letting someone else's perspective bend your trajectory. Their doubts, fears, or comparisons can influence decisions that should belong only to you. The truth is, no one else can feel the depth of your desire or understand the meaning behind your effort. Your dreams were shaped by your experiences, your ambitions, and your courage, not by the comfort or expectations of others. Allowing outside voices to guide your journey is the fastest way to dilute the authenticity of your goals. Moving quietly toward your dreams requires clarity. You must understand what you truly want and why you want it. That clarity acts like a compass, keeping your steps aligned with your purpose, regardless of external influence. Every choice you make, every action you take, becomes deliberate instead of reactive. When you rely on others' approval to measure your progress, you invite distraction and hesitation into your life. But when you focus internally, you cultivate self-trust. You begin to value your own judgment above opinions that were never meant to serve you. Your decisions gain strength and speed because they are grounded in personal conviction rather than social expectation. Many people inadvertently allow others to shape their dreams without realizing it. They listen to advice from well-meaning friends, family members, or colleagues, and adjust their plans to avoid conflict or criticism. Sometimes, people compare themselves to others and unconsciously alter their direction to match someone else's success. The danger in this is subtle but powerful. Each small adjustment away from your authentic path erodes your motivation, fragments your focus, and weakens the sense of ownership over your life. Moving privately ensures your energy is spent building the reality you want, instead of constructing someone else's vision. Progress toward a dream requires consistency, and consistency demands freedom from external influence. When others have input on your journey, your momentum often becomes fragmented. One voice encourages, another doubts, and suddenly your focus is scattered. That scattering slows growth, confuses your priorities, and diminishes the impact of your effort. Moving privately keeps your actions aligned, your steps intentional, and your energy concentrated on tasks that produce results. You learn to measure success by the standards that matter, not the applause you might receive or the opinions you may encounter along the way. When you shield your dreams from external shaping, you also protect your emotional state. Criticism, doubt, and misunderstanding can drain motivation faster than failure itself. Even subtle comments can create inattention that slows decision-making and stifles creativity. Private pursuit eliminates this emotional drain. It allows you to approach challenges with calm, to assess risks objectively, and to navigate obstacles without internal friction. The fewer the voices in your mind that question your direction, the stronger and clearer response to setbacks become. Your focus becomes sharper when your dreams are protected from external influence. Noise from other people competes for attention, even when it seems harmless. Their perspectives may be valid for them, but irrelevant to your goal. You can spend hours responding, explaining, or adjusting to others' ideas without even noticing how much time and energy has been diverted. Working quietly keeps your mind free for high-value thinking, strategy, and skill building. It allows you to invest every thought and action in ways that directly advance your objectives. Moving privately toward your dreams also strengthens resilience. Challenges are inevitable. People will question your choices, circumstances will test your patience, and progress will sometimes stall. When your foundation is based on external validation, these challenges feel amplified. They can easily shake your confidence, derail your focus, or tempt you to abandon the path entirely. When you are moving privately, your sense of purpose is internal. Challenges are seen as opportunities to adapt, rather than threats to approval. You develop the capacity to endure discomfort, navigate uncertainty, and persist with steady determination. Private pursuit of dreams fosters deeper creativity. Without the pressure of judgment, you can experiment freely, try unconventional strategies, and explore solutions without fear of critique. When your ideas are open to constant evaluation by others, hesitation creeps in. You second-guess yourself, seeking external validation before taking action. That hesitation slows growth, dilutes originality, and reduces the effectiveness of your efforts. Quiet movement allows bold, independent thinking to flourish. You take steps that make sense for your unique context, rather than steps designed to satisfy others. Trust develops naturally when you are the sole architect of your path. The more you rely on external guidance, the more dependent you become on someone else's perspective, and the less you trust your own abilities. Moving without letting others shape your journey forces you to make real decisions. You learn to evaluate options, accept responsibility for outcomes, and rely on your judgment in both success and failure. That trust in yourself becomes a lifelong asset. It strengthens your confidence, sharpens your focus, and increases your capacity to navigate new challenges independently. The pace of progress also improves when you follow your own direction. Others may unconsciously slow your momentum through suggestions, comparisons, or unsolicited advice. When your steps are dictated by your purpose alone, you can move at a speed that matches your abilities, learning curve, and energy. You are free to accelerate when ready, pause when reflection is needed, and adjust strategy without interference. This self-directed pace allows for sustained growth and prevents burnout caused by trying to meet external expectations prematurely. Moving privately helps you maintain emotional balance, which is crucial for long-term success. When you reveal your dreams prematurely, every setback feels magnified because of external judgment. Every delay is noticed, every struggle is evaluated. Your emotional state fluctuates based on reactions you cannot control. Pursuing goals privately shields you from this volatility. You maintain equilibrium, respond to challenges calmly, and keep focus on action rather than reaction. Emotional stability in pursuit of dreams ensures decisions are thoughtful, deliberate, and effective. Private pursuit of dreams strengthens self-reliance. You become accustomed to taking initiative, solving problems, and navigating uncertainty without asking for permission or approval. That independence is invaluable. It builds confidence in your problem solving, enhances your resourcefulness,
and develops courage to pursue high-stakes goals. You learn that you do not need constant reassurance to succeed. Your drive is fueled by your vision, not by external validation. Strategic thinking improves when others are not constantly shaping your plan. You can analyze opportunities and risks without interference, evaluate choices against your long-term objectives, and plan sequences of action that maximize effectiveness. When external voices dominate, you are often pulled toward short-term fixes or reactive decisions that compromise long-term outcomes. Private pursuit allows strategy to guide execution, creating results that are sustainable and meaningful. Maintaining privacy also protects the integrity of your ambition. Dreams are personal and sensitive. When too many people are involved, compromise often creeps in. You start accommodating opinions to avoid conflict or criticism. That accommodation can subtly shift your vision, weaken motivation, and blur priorities. Moving privately ensures your ambition remains intact, pure, and aligned with what truly matters to you. The result is a stronger, more resilient pursuit capable of withstanding setbacks and distraction. Moving without external shaping nurtures a clear sense of identity. When you let others influence your goals, you risk defining yourself through their expectations rather than your own values. That external definition can confuse your priorities, dilute motivation, and create internal conflict. Pursuing dreams privately strengthens self-awareness, sharpens values, and clarifies the principles that guide your life. Your identity and your ambitions align, giving you the confidence to navigate uncertainty with authenticity. Private pursuit encourages patience and long-term thinking. Immediate feedback from others often pressures people to seek fast results or visible progress. This pressure can lead to shortcuts, impulsive decisions, and premature sharing of incomplete achievements. Moving quietly allows time for skill development, reflection, and preparation. You learn to value the journey, respect incremental progress, and focus on results that endure. Patience becomes a tool for creating quality outcomes rather than chasing recognition. When you move toward your dreams without letting others shape them, your life becomes more focused, resilient, and authentic. Every step is deliberate, every decision intentional, and every effort aligned with your personal vision. You develop emotional strength, strategic clarity, self-trust, and independence. You protect your energy, maintain mental clarity, and preserve motivation. Ultimately, pursuing goals privately ensures that when the results manifest, they are a true reflection of your effort, ability, and vision, not the expectations or influence of anyone else. Your achievements belong to you alone, and the power of that ownership transforms every part of your life.
Chapter 9. Stay committed by keeping your daily effort hidden. When you stay committed by keeping your daily effort hidden, you unlock a level of discipline that few people ever experience. Most people seek recognition for what they do, but visibility often comes at a cost. When others watch your progress, every action becomes performative. You start thinking about how it looks instead of how it works. You start prioritizing approval instead of effectiveness. Hidden effort removes this distraction. It allows you to focus entirely on the action itself, on the habits, the skills, and the persistence required to build results that last. Every day becomes an opportunity to strengthen your capacity for growth without the interruptions of expectation or judgment. Daily effort is the backbone of achievement. Success rarely arrives in sudden bursts. It is the cumulative effect of small, consistent actions repeated over time. Yet, when those actions are public, people often slow themselves down. They stop to explain what they are doing. They pause to justify steps to others. They hesitate because they feel observed. Every explanation, every adjustment for someone else's comfort chips away at momentum. Keeping your effort hidden allows you to protect this momentum. You invest your energy in growth itself, rather than in crafting appearances or responding to questions. That consistency compounds in ways that visible effort rarely does. Hidden effort also strengthens your mental resilience. When no one is watching, you learn to commit without immediate reward. You learn to take action even when there is no applause or recognition. You develop the ability to motivate yourself from within. That internal drive becomes a source of strength because it is self-sustained. You don't rely on praise to continue, and you don't depend on acknowledgement to measure progress. Your commitment becomes authentic because it is chosen daily, not performed for an audience. Privacy in your work also improves focus. When your efforts are hidden, your mind is not pulled toward external distractions. You are not concerned with how your progress appears. You are not distracted by comparisons to others. You are free to concentrate fully on the task at hand, on the mastery of skills, and on the steps that truly produce results. This focused attention accelerates growth because your brain is entirely devoted to solving problems, improving efficiency, and enhancing performance. Hidden effort sharpens both skill and strategy. Another advantage of hidden daily effort is that it cultivates patience. Visible action often demands immediate results. You start measuring success by how quickly others notice, rather than how much progress you are actually making. That pressure can lead to shortcuts, unfinished tasks, or compromised quality. Working in private allows you to value the process over external validation. You can repeat actions as needed, refine skills methodically, and build habits with long-term durability. Patience in hidden work leads to mastery that is deep, reliable, and sustainable. Hidden effort also protects your emotional energy. Sharing daily work exposes you to reactions that you cannot control. Some people celebrate, some doubt, and some unintentionally undermine your motivation. Each reaction creates a ripple in your emotional state that can interfere with focus. By keeping effort hidden, you maintain emotional stability. You experience satisfaction internally and measure progress against personal standards. This emotional autonomy strengthens resilience and allows you to handle challenges without being thrown off balance by external opinion. When effort is hidden, self-accountability becomes central. No audience can judge whether you completed your tasks or not. You cannot rely on praise or fear of critique to maintain consistency. Your commitment is tested in silence, which is where real discipline grows. Each day becomes an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can follow through. Hidden effort creates a mental environment where honesty and personal responsibility are the only measures of success. That accountability is far more powerful than any external incentive because it strengthens integrity and fortifies character. Hidden daily work also allows for experimentation and learning. You can try new approaches without the pressure of observation. You can fail in privacy and adjust immediately without embarrassment or judgment. Experimentation becomes efficient because feedback comes from action and reflection rather than public opinion. This environment nurtures innovation, adaptability, and problem solving. You develop solutions tailored to your path rather than imitating or compromising for the comfort of others. Private effort cultivates a mindset capable of overcoming obstacles creatively, independently. Consistency is amplified when effort is hidden. Visible work often encourages inconsistent bursts of activity to impress observers. This creates uneven progress and mental fatigue. Hidden work relies purely on commitment. You establish routines that are practical, sustainable, and aligned with your goals. You repeat necessary actions daily, knowing that each small effort is building towards something larger. That repetition becomes a powerful engine for progress because it is unbroken and untainted by external interruptions. Every day contributes to a cumulative effect that is almost unstoppable. Hidden effort protects your personal space and time. Every action you reveal invites commentary, advice, and sometimes criticism. Responding to these inputs consumes energy and attention that could be better spent on actual growth. By keeping effort private, you preserve your time and your focus for the work that matters most. You can structure your days around action rather than interaction. You create an environment where your energy is invested in building skills, improving habits, and taking deliberate steps toward your goal. The sense of satisfaction gained from hidden effort is different from public acknowledgement. There is a deep internal reward in knowing that you worked diligently without anyone seeing. That satisfaction is stable because it does not depend on external validation. It becomes an intrinsic source of motivation that grows stronger over time. You learn to find joy in progress, improvement and persistence. That internal reward drives further effort, creating a positive feedback loop that accelerates growth quietly and effectively. Hidden daily work develops mental toughness. When your efforts are unseen, the temptation to quit or delay becomes internal rather than externally influenced. You face yourself in a raw and honest way. You confront excuses, resistance, and doubt directly. Each day you follow through without acknowledgement strengthens your capacity to endure discomfort, overcome obstacles, and remain focused on long-term results. That toughness is a defining characteristic of people who achieve enduring success, because it is built on habit, not approval. When effort is hidden, the mind is free from comparison. Public work often prompts people to measure their progress against others, which can create discouragement, envy, or misplaced urgency. Hidden effort allows you to track growth on your own terms. You see improvement clearly because you understand your starting point, your pace, and your direction. This autonomy prevents distraction, keeps confidence intact, and strengthens decision-making. You move forward with clarity, not compulsion. Hidden effort also nurtures humility. Working privately removes the need to impress anyone. You do not seek recognition for small steps, and you do not require acknowledgement for consistent action. That humility allows you to focus entirely on development and mastery, rather than image or state. You cultivate competence without ego interference. The result is a level of skill, understanding, and perseverance that is grounded in reality rather than appearance. The discipline gained from hidden effort extends beyond immediate goals. Habits formed in privacy carry over into all areas of life. You learn the value of incremental work, daily repetition, and strategic focus. You develop the ability to pursue long-term objectives without relying on external reinforcement. The discipline, resilience, and focus cultivated through hidden effort become tools that support every challenge and opportunity in your life. Hidden daily work also protects your confidence. Public effort exposes you to comparisons, criticism, and judgment that can undermine self-belief. Keeping work private creates a controlled environment where confidence grows from competence, consistency, and results. You measure yourself against your standards, not others' expectations. This confidence is deep, stable, and resilient, enabling you to take on bigger challenges without hesitation or doubt. Finally, hidden daily effort ensures that results, when they appear, are powerful. Success revealed after consistent, private work carries weight because it is earned, deliberate, and undeniable. It is built on skill, discipline, and focused energy, not on performance or applause. When you reveal results after hidden effort, they demonstrate the full measure of your capability, resolve, and strategy. Hidden effort turns every step, every day, and every choice into a foundation for lasting achievement. Staying committed by keeping your daily effort hidden strengthens discipline, focus, resilience, and internal motivation. It allows consistency, protects emotional energy, nurtures humility, and encourages strategic thinking. Hidden effort accelerates learning, preserves momentum, and ensures clarity in decision-making. It cultivates patience, independence, and confidence, while shielding progress from distractions and judgment. Over time, this private persistence produces results that are meaningful,
durable and powerful, because they were achieved through authentic, undistracted effort. Hidden effort transforms commitment into a lifelong habit of deliberate, unstoppable growth.
Chapter 10. Strengthen your identity by working without public validation. When you strengthen your identity by working without public validation, you tap into a form of power and confidence that cannot be shaken by anyone else's opinion. Most people allow their sense of self to be defined by how others see them. Approval becomes the measure of worth. Praise becomes the driver of effort. Criticism becomes a source of doubt. This dependence on external validation slowly erodes authenticity, confidence, and independence. Real identity is built from action, consistency, and commitment, not applause. When work is private, your identity is reinforced by your own discipline, effort, and alignment with your values, rather than by the fleeting approval or disapproval of others. Working without public validation allows you to cultivate a deep sense of self-trust. Each decision, each action, and each choice is made because it aligns with your goals and values, not because it will impress anyone. You learn to rely on your judgment, to measure success based on personal standards, and to act with conviction. That trust becomes a foundation for resilience. You no longer need others to confirm that you are on the right path. You develop the confidence to face uncertainty, make tough decisions, and navigate challenges independently. Self-trust grows silently but powerfully, shaping a person who is consistent, grounded, and unshakable. Your identity strengthens when your efforts are consistent, unseen and undisturbed by external expectation. Consistency builds character. Day after day, small actions accumulate to define who you are. When those actions are performed without seeking recognition, they become authentic expressions of your commitment, discipline, and values. You stop performing for others and start performing for yourself. Your identity evolves naturally because it is built on reality rather than perception. You become someone who does not need a crowd to validate effort, who continues regardless of praise, and who measures success by personal growth and results. One of the most important benefits of working without public validation is emotional freedom. When your identity is tied to the opinions of others, your emotional state fluctuates with their reactions. Praise can inflate ego, while criticism can deflate confidence. Both create dependence on forces outside of your control. Private work removes this external influence. Your self-worth is rooted in your effort, not in feedback. Your emotional energy is protected, allowing clarity of thought, focus, and calm persistence. You navigate setbacks with poise and celebrate victories internally, without needing validation from anyone else. Emotional autonomy becomes a key driver of both identity and achievement. Working in private also nurtures humility, which is essential to strong character. When efforts are visible, there is a temptation to perform for recognition. People can get distracted by status, image, or the desire to impress. When work is private, there is no one to impress. Humility grows because you understand that effort matters more than approval. You learn to value skill development, habit formation, and personal growth above external acknowledgement. This humility does not diminish strength, it enhances it. It allows you to absorb lessons, adapt to challenges, and refine your abilities without the interference of ego or expectation. Private work sharpens focus and strengthens strategic thinking. Public recognition can distort priorities. People often spend energy on actions that are visible rather than valuable. They prioritize activities that generate attention instead of those that produce results. Working without validation allows you to align energy with outcomes that truly matter. You think clearly, act deliberately, and follow strategies that enhance growth rather than visibility. The mind becomes precise and efficient, dedicated to progress rather than presentation. That precision accelerates skill,
decision-making and results. Strengthening identity in private also improves discipline. Discipline requires consistency, patience, and commitment without external reward. When validation is absent, the only force keeping you going is internal motivation. You develop a self-directed drive to succeed, which becomes unshakable over time. Daily practice, repeated effort, and persistent action all reinforce this internal motivation. Discipline, formed in the absence of public acknowledgement, is durable because it is founded on personal standards, not temporary approval. This kind of discipline supports every goal, every habit, and every challenge in life. Working without public validation allows for authentic experimentation. You can test new strategies, explore different approaches, and make mistakes without fear of judgment. Innovation thrives when you are free from observation, because fear of criticism cannot limit creativity. Every failure is an opportunity to learn and improve. Every success is built on authentic effort, rather than on projecting an image. By creating in private, you strengthen identity because you learn who you are, what works for you, and what you are capable of without interference or distraction from external opinion. Self-awareness deepens when you rely on private effort. You learn your strength, weaknesses, habits, and tendencies in a truthful, unfiltered way. Without public validation, there is no pressure to present a curated version of yourself. You see yourself as you truly are. That clarity informs decisions, shapes behavior, and guides future actions. Identity becomes rooted in reality rather than perception, making it stronger, more coherent, and more resistant to external influence. You know what you can do, what you must improve, and how to navigate challenges based on authentic understanding. Emotional resilience is a natural outcome of working privately. You face challenges, setbacks, and difficulties without seeking sympathy, reassurance, or praise. You learn to regulate responses internally, rely on personal strength, and maintain focus on objectives. This emotional resilience reinforces identity because it anchors self-worth in capability rather than recognition. You discover that your value is inherent in effort, integrity, and growth, not dependent on external affirmation. Each challenge overcome strengthens confidence and fortifies self-perception. Identity grows stronger when hidden work encourages independence. You make decisions based on principles, strategy, and personal goals. You do not wait for guidance, approval, or permission. You develop autonomy, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. This independence fosters courage and persistence because every step is chosen deliberately, rather than influenced by external pressures. You learn to trust your abilities, rely on your judgment, and navigate uncertainty with confidence. Independent action shapes identity because it aligns effort, purpose, and personal standards. Private work allows focus on meaningful growth rather than superficial recognition. Recognition can create distraction. People often adjust actions to gain attention rather than improve capability. Working privately removes this distraction. You concentrate entirely on what develops skill, knowledge, and ability. Your effort is directed toward results, mastery, and long-term impact. Identity strengthens because it is rooted in genuine competence rather than surface appearances. What you become is a reflection of sustained, focused effort rather than social approval. Privacy in work cultivates patience and perseverance. Immediate feedback from others is often a source of pressure. You may feel compelled to accelerate progress, show results, or adjust to opinion. Private work removes that pressure. You develop the ability to act consistently over time, respecting the natural pace of growth. Patience becomes internalized, and perseverance grows organically. This steady, disciplined approach reinforces identity because it demonstrates commitment, responsibility, and reliability. You are defined by what you do, not by how quickly others acknowledge it. Strengthening identity without validation also builds confidence. Confidence formed in public can be fragile because it relies on external approval. Private confidence is durable because it comes from competence, consistency, and alignment with personal values. Each task completed, each skill improved, and each goal achieved reinforces belief in your ability. Confidence becomes an internal compass, guiding decisions, inspiring action, and sustaining persistence. This self-generated confidence is more reliable and empowering than any praise or recognition could provide. Working privately reinforces focus on long-term goals. External validation often encourages short-term, attention-seeking behavior. Private effort ensures that you pursue objectives based on true importance rather than visibility. You plan, execute, and adjust strategically. Every action contributes to the broader vision rather than a fleeting impression. Identity grows stronger because it is shaped by meaningful achievement, strategic thinking, and deliberate effort. The trajectory of your life is guided by purpose, not by the reactions of others. Hidden effort cultivates self-discipline, emotional control, and resilience, all of which are essential to identity. You develop the habit of acting with integrity regardless of observation. Your actions become consistent, deliberate, and authentic. You strengthen the mental and emotional foundation upon which all personal growth is built. Identity becomes inseparable from capability and character because every action reflects who you truly are, not who you are perceived to be. Finally, working without public validation allows achievements to carry real weight when they are revealed. Success that emerges from sustained, private effort demonstrates skill, discipline, and focus. It is undeniable, authentic, and an identity shaped in private work is resilient, confident, and grounded. It is built on effort, integrity, and persistence rather than social perception. Strengthening identity through private action ensures that your life, your values, and your achievements belong fully to you. Your identity becomes a force that guides decisions, drives effort, and sustains growth throughout life.